me, and I met him for breakfast one day, and sat across the table, and he began to explain what he had written, that he had written a character that was an old guy that was approaching senility. And I thought, I could do that. And the older I get, the better I can do it. And he asked me if I would play, and it was going to be a series. And I thought, every series I've ever done, I've lost a wife. And I didn't want to lose Elizabeth, so I asked Elizabeth if I could do a series. That's how mealy-mouthed I've become. And Elizabeth said, sure, why not? Let's try. So I agreed to do it. And David Kelly is a genius writer. One year in American television, he wrote a drama called The Practice, and he wrote a comedy, Ally McBeal, and he won an Emmy for drama and for comedy the same year. Nobody's ever done that before or since. That's how incredibly talented he is, and how much everybody wants to work with him because of that talent. So I found something really unique in my experience, and that is when you film a day, a day's film, we call that rushes or the dailies. And the next day, the producers see the dailies from the previous day. And Kelly, being the producer, would see the dailies, but he was also the writer. So he began to write for me, seeing what I was doing in the dailies. And I began to perform more of what he was writing, because the writing was becoming enriching. So there became a circle of creativity in which he would write, I would act, he would write. And that, I think, was what brought the character to its fullest. How much of me is in there? That's me. But a little exaggeration, perhaps.
We're into our last few minutes here, so this is probably, unless this is a quick answer, we'll probably have to make this our last question. If you could pass that along.
Hi Bill, I was just wondering, in all the time on Star Trek, who was your favourite guest star to work with?
Oh, there was a girl with long blonde hair. The favorite guest stars. There were some wonderful actors that came on, but you have to understand, for me, it's almost 50 years ago. That's a long, long time. It's a lot longer than you were born. So the actors, sort of, we were able to draw some of the great talent in Hollywood to play that show. As the show got mentioned and talked about, people wanted to come and play on it. So there were all kinds of wonderful, wonderful guys. I'm trying to think of the name of the actor who became a comic. He was an actor first. He's surprised how many comics start off being actors and finding difficulty making a living, and they're sort of funny. They become, over the years, they become stand-up comics, but they still have the talent to be an actor. Who was the guy that played in the black and white? Gorshin. Frank Gorshin. Fantastic. Frank Gorshin. Is he dead or alive? Is he alive? He died, what? 3 years ago. 2. He died 2 years ago. I wonder if that's what they're going to say about me. You know, hey, Shatner, is he alive?
Never!
No, he died.
Never!
It's there in front of me. Frank Gorshin is a perfect example actor who was what do you call them when you imitate people? An impressionist. He was an impressionist. That sounds like the paintings. I don't mean impressionist. He was a French impressionist. He was this wonderful talent of being able to imitate people and then distill that imitation so that it became almost a caricature, but not. So you laughed at the exaggeration he did, but it wasn't too much exaggeration. And then he had funny words that he wrote, and then he could perform like he did on Star Trek. What a wonderful talent he was. We had so many of them that to pick out one is not fair, but the talents we had working on the Star Trek I was on, the writing talents were phenomenal. And we also consulted with some of the great science fiction writers of the time. So Isaac Asimov and all the guys that you know better than I would imagine, were all there either offering advice or actually writing plot lines. And then we had producers who could write beautifully. And it was a feast of ideas, and in many cases, the result of that feast was a wonderful script that we were able to perform and began this journey, which leads us up to today. Yeah.
Okay, I'm afraid we are out of time now. So can you please say your thanks to William Shatner.